And what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Monday show, Boys in the Big Apple podcast, here on YouTube, also streamed to Twitter and Twitch. Hope everybody is well. We are riding fresh off of another Yankee win, which we'll definitely get into. Not much football to talk about other than possible draft rumors, and then we'll do a mock draft. And, of course, the Knicks, they won last night against the Milwaukee Bucks, and we are slowly closing in on the end of the NBA season. And, of course, we'll be doing some streams right across the board for the Knicks in the playoffs. But what's up to Daniel Berry Sports? What's up to everybody else who may come in the chat as well? Share out to your friends, hit the like button, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff, turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or video drops. Again, we're trying to reach 2K. Please share out to all the good stuff. The Yankees were beneficiary of Cortez eclipse tonight. No sunshine for the Marlins. Well, guaranteed they are the worst team in baseball, at least to my knowledge. But listen, you know, when you need a good start, you can get it, and he got it tonight, which we'll definitely get into. But Luca, what's going on?
First thoughts, Yankees coming fresh off a win. They're also coming off fresh off a series win versus the Blue Jays, who I'm actually watching right now, Seattle, Toronto. It's interesting how they remodeled Rogers Center, but that's not the point. The Yankees coming off a series win. They've won basically all their series this far. Let's hope tomorrow they can get another series win when they win again, hopefully. Obviously tomorrow, some of their rotation, meaning Miami, is banged up. But regardless, you know, what's there to be mad about as a Yankees fan? You really can't complain. They're 9-2 right now. They're top of the division. You know, they're beating their opponents convincingly. So, like, I'm happy. I can't complain. But
Yeah,
also, I will mention this real quick. Besides the Yankees, you know, the Knicks had a big win last night against the Bucks, very much needed in terms of seeding purposes. It sucks that Julius Randle's out. I might go into a little bit of that as well when I do my Knicks segment. Obviously, there's a lot of film to break down when it comes to the Knicks, you know, out coaching the Bucks in certain things and, you know, outplaying the Bucks in certain things. But can't complain about the Knicks. You know, as I said, big win for seeding. Nothing much with football. We'll probably do a mock draft again. But yeah, it's all good in the sports land.
Yeah, we got what, 2-ish weeks till the draft, 2.5.
And I also say we did get the because obviously the Giants don't play. We got the trifecta, and we got the trifecta because the Rangers, the Knicks, and the Yankees won yesterday.
Yeah. What up, boys? There's Jacob gonna be in and out. UConn go back to back tonight.
Yes.
No John tonight. It's just gonna be the two of us. So next week I think Luca's got a guest prepared for us.
Yes.
On the brink and the heels of the NBA playoffs. And then of course we have some other content we're gonna prepare to pump out for you guys. But again, we're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers. So please share out to your brother, sister, cousin, whoever the hell, get to subscribe. So again, we open up with an immaculate grid. The Yankees, glad they're on here. So Yankees Diamondbacks, I think there's a couple of ones you could go with. I think David DeLucci is one.
Mm-hmm.
Did Alberto Gonzalez ever play for the Diamondbacks?
He probably did. Here's an ML MVP 2005 name, Brett Prinz.
And there's Tony Womack too.
Yes. Alberto Gonzalez did not play for the Diamondbacks.
Okay.
It's funny. I didn't know that Gonzalez actually started his career with the Yankees.
Well, bum-ski bum. So should we do David DeLucci or Brett Prinz?
I'm trying to also think of others.
Because I think Brett Prinz could be a good one.
Just think of one more time. Unless you want to do Vidal Nuno.
Yeah. I say Brett Prinz. So we'll do Brett Prinz. Okay. 0.9%.
0.09.
Things to go line. I did see that. I did see Schefter go on Pat Leonard's podcast. Maybe we could talk about that a little bit when we get to the Giants segment. All right, so we got Atlanta and the Yankees.
Mark Weathers, not Mark Weathers. What was his last name? Shit. The closer for the Braves back in the 90s.
Mark Wohlers?
Mark Wohlers. He was a Yankee. David Weathers, I believe, was a Yankee and a
David
Brave.
Justice.
David Justice. Gary Sheffield, obviously. This you could count as the obvious. David Weathers was not actually a Brave, but I'm thinking as well. Let's see. Teixeira was a Yankee and a Brave.
Yeah.
Brian McCann is an obvious because he spent most of his career with the Braves. It's just technically like a franchise player to them.
Martin Prado.
Martin Prado, yes.
Let's see what else we got. Mark Melanson. That would have been a good guess, actually. Now that we think about
That's actually a good one. I'm trying to think. Let me the pitcher. Remember Jose Ramirez?
Yes, that might work. Jose Ramirez, not the football player, but
Not
and
the,
also not the
the Guardians
infielder.
one.
Yeah,
He was a pitcher.
all right. So Jose Ramirez, that's a good call. I'm gonna sneeze in a second, so just give me. All right, there we go.
Doesn't sneeze.
2024, no, 2014, 2018. I think that sounds about right.
Yes.
All right, Jose Ramirez. All right, so we got some other ones we got to figure out. Arizona and Cleveland. We have Atlanta and Cleveland, Atlanta and LA, Dodgers, D-backs. I remember the days they used to go at it a couple of years ago, but nonetheless. All right. Let's see what else we got. 2,200K season, my bad. I feel like we've done this one with the Dodgers before. So we could try. There's Fernando Valenzuela, I think.
I don't think he did it.
Or maybe he did, maybe he didn't. He did. So he's an option.
I think I'm going to go with Don Sutton.
Don Sutton is your guess?
Yes, because in his first season, he actually put up a 2.99 ERA, struck out 209 batters. He just struck out 200 batters multiple times over the course of his career.
Gotcha. All right, so we're due Don Sutton for the Dodgers?
Yeah.
Okay. Gonna do it right about now. Okay, 4%. Cleveland 200. There's a couple of names you could probably throw up there. Did Bartolo ever do it?
It has to be with Cleveland, right?
It has to be with Cleveland. He did.
I would never pick it. What?
He did.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
2000.
I see.
That's another good one. That's the one we could put in. David Justice. I actually like that one for
you also got this Nick Swisher.
Nick Swisher's another one. Yes, the guy who's doing the friggin' post game. So we got Swisher and Justice to be battling between. Swisher. Should we go Bartolo though?
I guess. I mean, I don't want it to be too obvious, but
well, just about as obvious as you've done
something. I'll live with that.
All right. We got. So we do Swisher or Justice. I kind of like David Justice a little bit more.
I'm going to try to think of one more. One more. I should be trying to think of. Bob Wickman.
That's a random name. Very random, but
play for the Guardians, Indians technically, and play for the Braves. Bob Wickman.
Okay, Bob Wickman it is. All right, 0.7%. And then we got 4 more to fill. Yankee and 200K. I'm trying to think of, the couple of different guys. Whitey Ford.
How about we leave that for last?
All right, we'll leave it for last.
Cleveland and Arizona.
You said Cleveland and Arizona?
Yeah, that's what I want to start on.
That's a tough one. What's up, Carlos and 200K Cliff Lee? That could have been a good one. Thank you for the throw in, Sunil. Let's see. Diamondbacks, Dodgers. I don't think Ryan Roberts was a Dodger.
Ryan Roberts, like the right-handed hitter?
Like the right-handed hitter. No, he wasn't. No. Okay. Damn.
Jacob says Alfonso Soriano, Dodgers and Braves. I don't think he played for either.
Yeah, maybe I don't think Rafael Soriano played for either.
Rafael Soriano was a Brave. I don't know if he was a Dodger.
Marquise Grissom works too.
For what teams?
I think maybe that was for Cleveland, but did he ever play for LA? Oh, he did. He did play for LA. So Atlanta and LA could be Marquise Grissom.
Okay, I'll work that.
All right, 0.5%. All right, that's a good guess. Good one, Sunil. Diamondbacks. LA, Diamondbacks, Cleveland, and then the biggest like just splinter is this LA Cleveland one, in my opinion. Brian Jordan for Braves Dodgers.
Well, there's no LA Cleveland, Alex. There's
Um,
Diamondbacks Cleveland.
You know what I meant. You know what I meant. Okay. Damn. All right.
I'm gonna try to run through my and as I said, MVP 2005 stuff. I mean, obvious Zach Greinke.
Yeah, Zach
for
Greinke.
Dodgers, Arizona.
I don't think Arroyo ever played for the Dodgers.
You're talking about Bronson?
Yeah.
No. Really trying to think here. Trying to think of like relievers. This is interestingly hard for me, and I don't know why.
Let's see. For Cole, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. But we don't.
Jacob says Trevor Bauer could fit both. He was a Diamondback actually for a brief part.
That's a good point. So
now,
do
the
we do
question is,
that?
do you want to put him for Cleveland or LA?
No, not Cleveland, because that's going to be way too obvious. All right, so
LA was also the last team he was on before he got suspended.
Yeah, but wasn't it like a year though?
Yeah, like a year, half a year kind of thing.
All right, so we'll keep that in our back pocket. Damn.
Let me look up this guy, see if he played for any of those teams.
This one's a little bit tough. LA and Arizona, Jacques Peterson. That's a guess. I mean, I wouldn't have thought.
Solid guess. I think that might be a little obvious, but still. Dodgers and Guardians. Let's go with Guillermo Mota.
Okay. Dodgers, Guardians.
No, never mind. Scratch that.
You got my hopes up.
Good thing for the Diamondbacks. The answer is no.
Last play for Cincy. So, all right. So do we do Trevor Bauer though?
Why not?
All right, Trevor Bauer. 2%. That's not terrible.
It's only that much.
Yeah, maybe a lot of people weren't guessing him.
Cleveland, Arizona. I'm going to try to think of like their mid 2000s teams. I'm trying to think like their catcher was Victor Martinez. Their first baseman DH, you could say, was Travis Hafner. Was Carlos Santana a Diamondback?
I don't think so.
We're looking up. There was Jody Garrett. I don't think he played with the Diamondbacks.
Let's see if this name does it. No, fuck, it does not. Okay. Trying to think like maybe Diamondbacks, like the World Series team.
Yeah, that's a good start. So their catcher was Damian Miller or Rod Barajas. I don't know if Barajas played for the Guardians. First base was Mark.
He might have.
Yeah, you can look that up.
I got the one of my guesses earlier. Does it actually? David DeLucci.
That's true. Or you could do Sunil's guess and say Matt Williams, which is not bad either.
David DeLucci gets 2%. And
good guess, Sunil, though. Good guess.
Yeah, good
what's
guess.
Up to Evan?
Evan, what's up, man? 200K season for the Yankees.
You said Whitey Ford.
Whitey, I mean, yeah, there's a couple of pitchers you could probably put in there.
He hit 200 once. I'm trying to think of other options. I don't know if Ron Guidry ever did. He actually did in 1978. I almost said 2008. Let me look up some other pitchers that are somewhat known.
Somewhat known, but also just like, Yankees as well. I'm trying to think like some of the 90s rotation as well. Jimmy Key.
Key was a contact pitcher.
David Wells.
I don't think Dave Righetti ever did.
Wells didn't. Let's see. Righetti didn't. David Cohn, maybe?
No, I don't think he would go for 200. He didn't seem like that pitcher.
Well, you're kind of wrong on that one.
He hit 200 with the Yankees.
Yep, twice.
Let me look up these two other options. I don't think they'll work, but and then we'll go to Cone.
Let's see. El Duque says Jacob,
I don't know if
possibly.
he would hit 200 though. 200 is not exactly the most easiest feat in the world. I mean, 300's another
He
thing.
didn't. He did not,
All right,
unfortunately.
we'll roll with Coney.
And we'll roll with Coney, and that will be our guess. So we're going to do David Cone. 5%. All right, we already scored 17. So, I guess before we talk about today's win and how this team has been playing overall, Luca, you want to explain your experience at least yesterday? And you got that new hat.
Yes, I did. I actually bought it at a Yankee store that was across from the Bronx.
Across from the Bronx.
In the Bronx, excuse me, across from Yankee Stadium. It was about $32. Alex got
Hold,
the new
hold
hat.
that thought, Luca. That's for your little mess up. But anyway, continue.
So 32, it was $32. 32. Alex got his hat for 40, but all good. I like this hat very much. I'm gonna keep it, obviously. But going to the stadium, my first thought was let's find the 99 burger because I had it last year on 4th of July. It was really good. So I'm like, you know what? I gotta go get it again. But the problem was I thought because I remember from last year, July 4th, I think that was the last Yankee game I went to last year, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. No, I probably am wrong. It was like I think it was an August game against the Mariners. I'm not sure, but anyways, not the point. Um, I went to go get the 99 burger because I thought it was up in the third deck, behind home plate. So it wasn't there. I asked somebody. No, I didn't ask somebody. You looked on your phone, Alex. It was what 223 as
It
you
was
saw.
223. At least that's what it was listed as.
It was 223, and then I asked somebody, it was like 110, was it? Something like that. And
Yeah,
then
it
we
was like
eventually
110.
it was 107. 107, it was in right field. And obviously there was a long ass line. You and Joe were like, you know what? If you're gonna wait on line, you're waiting on line. If you guys didn't really have the patience, that's completely fine. I only had to wait about 5 to 10 minutes online and like 3 to 5 minutes for the burger. So obviously, burger I thought was really good. A little char for my liking, but the cheese hit really well, like the caramelized onions. I put some ketchup on it. The only thing I don't like and I removed was the pickles because I think pickles are disgusting. But regardless, very good burger. Second, I actually had two burgers. The second time go around wasn't as good because I felt it was a little more char. Um, but I also had a iced tea with that. So it was all fun and well. Great experience. The Yankee Stadium was really warm, especially this time in April. It's really cold most of the time. It was a beautiful day out, beautiful day for baseball. Sitting in the bleachers, having a lot of fun with the people around us. So it was a good experience. Can't lie. First Yankee game of the season. Who's to complain?
Yeah, right. We went with Mr. Killer Joe, who some of you obviously know I've seen in the chats. Any new Dominican spots because of Soto? I don't think so,
We
but
saw a kid holding up the Dominican flag over the Blue Jays bullpen. Not obviously because the Blue Jays, but the Yankees. But not that I saw any Dominican spots. I know they added Blue Bunny ice cream and Mr. Softy ice cream, but there's no really Dominican spot.
yeah, at least I don't think so.
I'm sure there's a shit ton of places in the Bronx, though.
Now I have a real theory as to why the Yankees didn't make the playoffs last year.
Why is that?
You want to guess that theory? So, what did I do yesterday? What did I do yesterday? Maybe you could think right off the top of your head. Kind of mentioned it.
You didn't buy a chicken bucket.
No. Well, I didn't buy a chicken bucket, but that's not the thing I'm referring to.
You bought ice cream.
No.
You bought a
Again,
hat.
I bought a hat. Yes. So I have technically my track record has 3 hats ever since they opened back up in 2021. I didn't get a hat in 2023. I got a hat in 21. I got a hat in 22 on opening day. At least I believe I did because I lost my other one in a rainstorm. It was like a windstorm. It was very nasty. And then I didn't get one in 23. And then 24, I got one. So the Yankees are going to make the playoffs this year, guys. And you know what? If I jinx it somehow, y'all can come back and fight me and, throw shit at me and, all that stuff. But this Yankee team, man, it's very just breathtaking to watch how good they've been, how successful they've been, and it's sustained success. Now, I do have like 1 or 2 worries, but the way this team fights, the way they do a lot of different things really well, the way they're just poised. I mean, again, we kind of talked about it last week. This
Right.
week, it's more of an ascension because okay, yeah, the Yankees did lose a game in Zona. They ended up, winning the series. Then they came back home, faced the Blue Jays. They didn't win the first game, but they won the next two. And then tonight they won against the Marlins. Now, I mean, we'll get into Nestor Cortez a little bit. We'll get into the pitching and a lot of other different things. But for at least to start on this, Nestor Cortez for him, as far as he goes, he needed this start. Actually, let me start on another thing. I think I brought it up last show, right? I think I
Right.
brought it up last show how this lineup is different from last year's in the respect that there are different guys who go off at different times.
Right.
And we kind of saw like Soto during the weekend, he wasn't as hot. I mean, he had one or two RBIs. I know one was a sacrifice. I think another one was a single. But you also had Stanton totally go off at least yesterday, right? He hit that grand slam. I'm pretty sure he also hit a single. So everyone's warming up at different times, which is good because, I think I'd rather have different guys warm up at different times rather than, everybody is wasting or everybody's out there, they're 100% everyone's hitting and then they don't hit collectively as a team.
Right.
Um, but I mean, again, just the way this team is molding together, they're one of the best teams in the American League. And again, I think this is sustainable, and it's really the Juan Soto effect, the way this team has, tackled it, and they've embraced it. And again, I will say this because I'm a Yankee fan, and call me biased or whatever, but I don't think any fan base has embraced the player that Juan Soto is like the New York Yankees fan base. And again, I know the New York fan base gets shit because, oh, they're too harsh on their players or stuff like that. But when they really embrace their players, they really embrace their players. And again, I don't know the landscape of San Diego. I don't know the landscape of Washington, but and yes, he had a career year, a couple career years in Washington, but I think what he's got here is a very loyal fan base, a big fan base, and also a Dominican fan base, which I think will really attach his heart to the city and make it really difficult at the end of the season if the Yankees do well. Whether he wants to come back or not, but also it's going to have to be down to the right price.
Absolutely. And you brought up the strong Dominican heritage in the Bronx, obviously. But just like overall, like as you said, first of all, can we point out as this has been what 2 weeks in the season, the Yankees have maintained consistent lineup after consistent lineup. They deserve credit. You still have Gleyber Torres, who I think should be at least a 5 hitter. I don't think he's top of the order. I think we've tried out the experiment a little too long. But you know what? With Volpe, he's playing his ass off. Soto is stuck in the 2 hole, and that's completely fine. Judge, I think Stan will get hot eventually. But it's just like, as you said, different contributors each, it's not the same guy contributing and everybody else is just sucking. Every day it's a new contributor. You saw Stanton last night. I mean, yesterday with the Stanton Grand Slam. He was the big hit. Juan Soto, Anthony Volpe today. So it's like, it's almost unpredictable, and it's good for it's good for us because, that's harder for opposing pitchers and opposing defenses to game plan for. That's what I say.
What's up to Jeremy in the chat from Jets Chaos? He says LMB fried calamari all day. Well, that's Luca's favorite at LMB,
Absolutely, really good.
besides the what do you call it? The pizza, of course. But if you guys haven't already, check out Jeremy's channel, Jets Chaos, and of course the Brooklyn Brothers food review. But also I do want to give an update to our fellow. Well, I'm surprised Armand isn't here yet. Because he usually makes his appearance, but he's probably throwing his chair and everything he can at the TV right now because the Atlanta Braves do have the lead over the New York Mets 4-1. And maybe if we do care to get into them, we will. But again, I want to talk about how this team is really rolling because we didn't give them enough positivity because there was no positivity given last year. But I mean, you talked about it. I want to get into Volpe because that was like I want to get into him. What happens if Verdugo is rolling when Dominguez come back and he gets sent down?
I don't think they're going to send him down.
Dominguez get sent down? That's tough. That's tough because you really don't want to keep guys in a platoon.
Right.
Rotate this guy, rotate that guy. I mean, they're not really backup outfielders. All those guys, Stanton, Judge. So you don't even have to consider sort of sent down Verdugo. I think you do see possibly that they may send Dominguez down or they may send Grisham down.
I don't think Grisham might. I doubt Grisham has options. But the funny thing is, like, let's just say, Dominguez is slated to come back. I don't know. Let's just say, like, I'm obviously not hoping he has this. Let's just say, I don't know, he has a setback of some sorts where he's now going to have to come back around the trade deadline, and the Yankees trade Stanton, and then Dominguez comes back. That would be the ideal scenario where he slots right into the DH and Stanton would be gone. But at the end of the day, that it's almost like a good problem to have. But at the end of the day, Stanton, he's been hot and cold. He had some nice swings tonight. Obviously, in a big game yesterday, and I think he's somewhat starting to turn around. He still has those questionable ABs. They've been better, but at the end of the day, we'll worry about that when we worry about that. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, definitely. My phone's being a little bit slow. Volpe looking like he's making a second-year jump like Jermaine Johnson.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. We'll get to the outfield stuff if we ever cross that bridge. And the Yankees still have a number of millions of dollars to pay Stanton when the time comes, if they do release him or DFA him or whatnot. But Anthony Volpe has completely, at least the way we've seen the first 2 weeks of baseball, has completely turned it around. And me and you, Luca, we were definitely like down on him last year, kind of pointing out his flaws. He was striking out 167 times. He wasn't hitting for average. He wasn't seeing the ball. He wasn't doing a couple
He
of
was
different
mainly
things.
a fastball hitter.
Mainly a fastball hitter. Defensively, he wasn't good enough. And there are still issues with him defensively. Too. But I think he is one of the biggest surprises on this team because you could predict, okay, well, Volpe's going to have a good second year. I don't think anyone, at least in my opinion, that's being rational and not a fanboy, could have predicted, boom, this guy's going to get off to a hot start right away. He's seeing the ball. He's hitting the ball well. He's already got 2 home runs on the season, which I believe is tied for the lead on the team. And he's also stealing bases. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, but just to continue on the Volpe point, like, obviously, I know Jacob brought up that Volpe was going at the umpire, but those were 2 really bad pitches that I think shouldn't have been called strikes. But to me, that kind of shows something. Like, you take a negative, you put it into a positive. Obviously, those 2 pitches to Volpe weren't strikes, but I'm glad he didn't swing at them because to me, like last year, I thought he would have swung at them. The plate discipline's been better. The pitch recognition, the plate discipline, as I said, have been better. He's hitting the ball to the opposite field a hell of a lot more. He's just not a pull hitter anymore. Thankfully, he's spreading the ball around all fields, and he's not. And another thing too, which has been somewhat of a criticism of him last year, he's not just hitting fastballs. You saw the home run tonight. He went down to get it in the zone. That pitch was like a slider, a sweeper, off speed, going down to get it. He hits a home run into left field. So he is hitting everything right now. You got to give him a lot of credit. Defensively, we said, okay, he's like an average, above average fielder. Maybe, I don't know if he deserved Gold Glove. The play he made yesterday that was challenged.
There were 2 plays tonight.
Yeah. The 2 plays he made tonight, the play yesterday where it was challenged and obviously not overturned. Like, he's flashing the leather out there. You got to give him credit, man. He's looked phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about him.
Now, if he continues on this trajectory, I think he's an all-star.
Oh, without a doubt.
Now, I think there is going to be a point where he does slow down.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know when that's going to be, but he's not going to stay hitting 411 the same season. But if he's hitting like upwards of 260, 270, and again, those are like very star-studded high hopes for Volpe, past what a lot of people had him as. I mean, you're talking about actually hitting on a prospect this time, like not sitting here and doing this, that, and the other thing, but you're actually hitting on a prospect this time that the Yankees PR system and the Yankees overall organization hyped up the shit out of.
Right.
And, I said this last year that Volpe would not be the reason that the Yankees are suck as a team. And he was, but he wasn't. He wasn't like a glaring thing because, he still won Gold Glove and everybody was giving him the rookie excuse. But the way he's playing right now, he could fall into line as, okay, he is one of the stars of this team. It's not too many cooks in the kitchen. Jacob says you could probably trade Grisham or Doogie. Grisham, I'm pretty sure his salary is between like $5 and $8 million. As far as Doogie, I don't know. I know both of them, I think, are free agents after the season. I wouldn't want to trade Duke for Duga though. I don't. I feel like he's. I don't want to be sentimental, but he is a guy I think we need to keep in the locker room. Now, beyond this year, you question that, you don't know, because you may have to put all your assets towards a
Soto.
Juan Soto. But I mean, Verdugo, I like the trade at the time. I still like the trade. I think he's going to get hot a little bit. Um, I love the trade when it happened. I would like one of our catchers to start hitting a little bit because Wells is not doing that good, and now there's Trevino. But as long as the rest of the lineup is hitting, and as long as everybody else is falling in line, you're not going to hear me complain about it. You're really not. What else should we break down? I mean, we broke down Volpe a little bit.
Right.
Soto's impact cannot be overstated.
I mean, he had a towering home run in the right field.
Yeah. So again, just all positivity from the Yankee side. All positivity.
Except one thing. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, you have players like Judge and Rizzo slumping, but that's not the point I want to hit on. And that my concern is with this bullpen a little bit. You
Okay.
saw, what was it, Jake Cousins? I was going to call him Scott Cousins, not the guy who ran over Buster Posey. Jake Cousins, obviously, he was sent down today, but it's a little worrying that the Yankees don't really have a reliable arm outside of Ian Hamilton out of the bullpen. Clay Holmes is 50-50. Nick Birdie's been, I think, okay.
I would say okay at best because his control lacks sometimes. Like he's got a good fastball, but his breaking stuff is not good. At least from seeing what was yesterday and what all these other appearances he's had, his breaking stuff is not good in my opinion. That's just the way I see it.
Luke Weaver, I don't think he's good. I think everything he throws is flat. I mean, you saw it. The Yankees almost blew the game on Saturday because he was, in there for long relief, and understandably so. But everything was flat, no movement, just batting practice almost. So obviously the Yankees took him out. I mean, we've yet to see more of Caleb Ferguson and Victor Gonzalez, so I hope they emerge. So it's a little bit of a worry. Is it too much of a worry? Like, oh my God, we might have to go out and get somebody. We'll see. But I'm not too worried right now. But that's probably the biggest concern you have with this team right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and especially you have a couple of different factors. You mentioned Jake Cousins, who they traded, and it was a low risk trade, all that sort of stuff. He had a solid ERA coming in. His stuff sucked. He couldn't control the ball yesterday, and we kind of had a little bit of a fit in the stands.
Yeah,
but
kind of cringed. Kind of cringed.
I kind of like cringe at his start. Excuse me for that, but kind of like cringe at his appearance. Not that good. And then Clayton Beater's still in AAA, and I feel like a lot of the reason the Yankees, not for the sake of the shutout, but today they probably went with Nestor because they wanted to give their bullpen a little bit of rest. You still have Birdie up here. Obviously, they optioned Jake Cousins and they selected Josh Majewski. Which I don't know. Did Majewski pitch bad? Did he pitch good?
He was basically 1-2-3.
Okay, good. If Soto walks, a Verdugo Bregman combo ain't bad. No,
I don't know.
It's not, but it's not the same effect.
The Soto effect is so abundant. Abundant's not even a word you use to describe it. It's universal. What he's, fans are. He's like a super fan favorite at this point, despite playing only 2 weeks for this team in the regular season. So it's I really badly want him to stay, but also it's at the same time the Yankees really have to commit to paying him. He's their target. He is literally their target.
Yeah, and he said he's going to hit the market. So when he hits the market, you better be there with the best offer.
Absolutely. And obviously, he knows he's going to have the fan support. There's a huge Dominican, demographic in the Bronx, in Manhattan.
Yeah. But as far as the bullpen worries go, they selected Majewski. I'm pretty sure it's Majewski. Jonathan Loaizaga is now on the IL, which it's not good. And that's kind of my worry coming in the season, other than the starting rotation, is are these guys going to be able to back up the starters? And especially when you have a Garrett Cole type who's out and you have a lot of questions in the rotation, it does not help. And Luis Hill, he pitched okay yesterday. There were a couple of parts where, he was shaky and a little bit of walks here and there. But, I mean, he had something like 80-something pitches in 4 innings. Like, that cannot happen. And I get it. Listen, he's coming back. He hasn't pitched in 2 years and all these other different things, which are valuable points. But we can't be sitting there having that in May, June, July when we're trying to take over the landscape and assert ourselves as the best in the American League. And hopefully, again, Garrett Cole's back at that point, so it puts less pressure on guys. Now, let me ask you a question. I know this is so far-fetched. This is so in the future. If you were to take out a starter right now and put him in the bullpen or something along those lines, who would you do if it was Garrett Cole coming back tomorrow?
Okay, so Stroman's been really solid.
Yeah, I have no complaints about Marcus Stroman.
I think he's been the most consistent. Rodon has been somewhat shaky. Clark Schmidt, he pitched on Saturday, right? He pitched phenomenally until he obviously got taken out. And what did he go 4 2/3? Someone along that line. Yeah, he didn't get the win in that game, but he pitched phenomenal. He pitched well enough, and obviously the pit thing is with the pitch count, all that. So Schmidt, no, not yet. Stroman, not yet. Rodon may be in consideration, but he's not a bullpen guy, so you didn't really sign him to be a bullpen guy. That would be a huge, very negative optics and correspondence with that. Heel's working his way back. Maybe you throw him in a long reliever role for a bit, but if you see somebody continuing to struggle, then you throw him back in the starting rotation.
I would probably throw him in the bullpen because, we'll see where he's at when Cole comes back. Hopefully, he comes back sometime soon. But I would just do it anyway, and that kind of move some space around, right? I think the Giants. I think the Yankees should have 2 long relievers. Personally, I think they should bring up Clayton Beeter again, and then they have a guy like Luis Hill. And again, this is for when Cole comes back.
Yeah,
and then other relievers. How long is Canely out?
He's starting the season on the IL. I don't think there's been any progress made, so it's up in the air for right now.
Okay, so we
said
have
he will return to mound work soon.
Okay, so Garrett Cole.
Remember, he had a little bit of a setback.
Yeah, so Canely you can forget. But the other guys we have, maybe Majewski comes to be in something.
Maybe Nick Birdie gets better.
Hopefully Birdie gets better. I would still put him in low because I feel like yesterday that was kind of a high leverage situation for Birdie, and that's not where you.
Yeah, that's because Cousins blew it. To be fair.
Yeah. So you have Gonzalez, you have Ferguson. Those guys I would trust in higher leverage situations to where you don't have to put in a Nick Birdie. Dennis Santana, he's pitched fine, but that's not really a guy I want.
That's a guy you send up and down.
Yeah, it's a guy you flip flop between AAA and here, and Luke Weaver. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan on, but yeah. I would again probably try to move Heel into a long reliever role, which I know we've discussed beforehand because the fact that he hasn't pitched in 2 years, and B, what was the other thing? He hasn't pitched in 2 years, and he probably gives you the most length just as a reliever. And then Clayton Beeter factors in, and then you really don't have too many worries about the bullpen. So that's as far as that. Any final thoughts on? I know it was a quicker Yankee segment than usual, but when the Yankees are playing just so damn well over a good span of time,
what else do you have to say? The Yankees are rolling.
Max, what's up? This is Max Custom Kicks. Got an ad. And like an advertisement ad? Is that what he means?
Yeah, that's
but
right.
I want to talk about this situation. Do you want to start with the A's? Do you want to start with the pitchers?
Well,
we've been doing good. We by the way, Max, I was just thinking. I'm like, last week you weren't here, and we did Prospect of the Week, Edrin Cooper, your favorite. So just want to detail that. But obviously it's gonna be a different guy this week. All right. But Luca, you were saying?
I think we got to go with this pitchers thing. This pitchers thing is nuts.
So for anyone who has not been following along or reading the tea leaves, there's been a ton of pitchers over the past few weeks to
Couple of
say,
months, even
couple of
it's
months,
spanning
maybe
back to
even
September.
spanning back to September, where there's a lot of pitchers with elbow injuries. If you want to start with the Yankees, Garrett Cole and Jonathan Loizaga. Loizaga, apparently he doesn't need Tommy John surgery. Is that what I
Was it
heard?
UCL?
UCL. Usually when I think of
That's the
UCL, that's
same thing as Alcantara.
yeah. So you have him, you have Sandy Alcantara, you have Garrett Cole, you have Max Scherzer, you have Yuri Perez, you have Justin Verlander, you have Shane Bieber, and then today, elbow soreness with Framber Valdez. Now, a lot of people have pointed to different reasons as to why this is going on. Garrett Cole, Luca, if you want to pull up the quote, you can, because that would be very good and very fruitful for the argument. But there's three things you could point to. Number one is the pitch clock. Number two is the velocity, which kind of has to deal with number three, and that's the sticky stuff. Now, personally, someone came out on Twitter yesterday and said, blah, 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 this is why the pitchers are getting injured, and it's kind of Trevor Bauer's fault for exposing the entire operation about the sticky stuff. To me, that doesn't really, I don't think that's, I think that's just a name to throw
Hold
out
on.
and
I'm
blame
sorry to
them.
interrupt. Tyler Glasnow actually said he got hurt because of the sticky stuff.
Yeah. I mean, what's up to
Can,
Armand?
can I also
Sorry
add
to
this?
hear your Mets.
This is the quote from Cole. So this was per Laura Albanese from Newsday, and
Okay.
he said Cole calls MLB's dismissal of correlation between the pitch clock and rash of injuries very short-sighted. I didn't think it was very thorough, and that we won't have metrics for this for 5 years. Says there needs to be a bigger conversation before
5 years. 5 years to wait for metrics on a fucking elbow.
In terms of the injuries.
The connection. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, for I didn't mean to say sorry. Well, now it's, hopefully you keep winning. Brandon Nimmo just hit a 3-run homer. But as I said, someone on Twitter was like, "Yeah, this is Trevor Bauer's fault for exposing the entire operation about sticky stuff." I'm like, I don't. I
That
think
has to do
sticky
with more
stuff.
grip, though.
I think it's more about. I think okay, as far as grip goes, that's where you could kind of say, okay, maybe it does have a thing in play. And I think also sticky stuff has to do with more with break, no? Break on a pitch?
It's break, it's movement, stuff like that. But I think there's two things that play into it. First of all, it's the pitch clock, in my opinion. I don't think pitchers are getting enough much rest between pitches as much as they want because everybody's speeding up the game, speed, all that. The narrative that pitchers take too long, all this, all that, whatever. I also think it's going to sound weird, but I think maybe you could say like the hampering of the arm injuries and all that shit. Maybe you go back to like 2016 when the MLB started doing automatic intentional walks because pitchers need to loosen their arms. They need to continue throwing. They can't have a certain time like I don't know if that played into it. If you know what I'm getting at in terms of that.
What, stopping intentional walks as a
Stopping
throw?
the actual throwing of the baseball for the intentional walks because they say it was too time consuming. Like,
Well,
I think, like,
that's pretty much
it's
everything that
pitchers
their
have
fucking
certain
argument is.
rhythms that they follow because, keeping your arm loose is a good thing. But, again, pitchers like Nestor have kind of suffered with the pitch clock, not with the arm so much, but so much with the rhythm. Again, as John was saying, when it came to, JD Martinez and all that, completely different conversation. It takes pitchers longer to warm up and get ready for the season. And unfortunately, you have a lot of guys before the season that are getting hurt. So I think personally the pitch clock does have something to do with it, especially that possibly it could be shortened in coming years. Second, it's the new era of baseball where everybody is expecting to be throwing 97 to 100 miles an hour each on the fastball primarily. There's no more throwing 93 or 94. I mean, there's some pitchers who do that, but the expectation is, you got to overpower the hitter. And I'm going to tell you this, not everybody's arm is made to throw 100 miles an hour. It's not. Everybody's arm is different. As much as I talked about rhythm just earlier, everybody's arm is different. Not everybody can throw 100 miles an hour. That can be said for Jonathan Loizaga. Now,
Yeah.
he is a power pitcher a little bit, but I think it's also important to develop other pitches to try to, cancel that out. But overall, I think it's two of those things.
Jeffrey, what's up? He says Trevor Story is out for the rest of the season. That I did not hear, but I mean, I could be I again, I hope Trevor. I mean, again, he's a Red Sox, but hopefully, you know, again, hopefully Trevor Story gets okay. But as far as I think again, it's a mixture of things. I do think the pitch clock has to do with it, and the fact again, like where Garrett Cole was kind of going after the MLB. There's something needs to be done about this because when top starters in the game are getting, if it's nobodies, you can kind of see like, okay, it's not affecting like the major pitchers.
Right.
But Verlander, who's still relevant in today's game, Max Scherzer, all these different. This is where the
Alcantara?
MLB. This is where the MLBPA should step up. Like I know
Absolutely.
Scherzer, I don't know if he was booted from a leadership role, but this is where a guy like Max Scherzer or somebody in the MLBPA needs to step up and say, "Look, MLB, you got to start going after this because this is not healthy for our pitchers." And they need to find a solution because you can't keep doing this.
Exactly.
And like the thing is, they could use a little out and say, okay, well, if there's less good pitchers, that means more offense and more people get drawn to our game. I'm not saying I would want that to happen. I'm
Right.
just saying that's an alley that they could take. And it could also be an alley for more control issues, more bums, all these other different things, in all the solutions and all the problems. But I mean, again, MLBPA should probably again that we those are key pitchers that we listed: Scherzer, Alcantara, Loizaga, Cole, Verlander. Those guys are studs in today's game.
Yuri Perez, an up
Gary
and coming
Perez.
pitcher.
So again, with the fact that we're stunting, these guys out of, we're stunting them because we don't know how to fix these issues. I mean, sorry, but these are the laundry list of problems MLB has to deal with, which is obviously again we're going to talk about another topic in maybe in a few minutes, but you've got to think of a solution. You really do. I mean, whether it's reinstalling the sticky stuff,
I don't
whether
think
it's
they're doing that.
I'm throwing out
Yeah.
suggestions,
Mhm.
reinstalling the sticky stuff, not making so much of a reliance on these mile an hour pitches,
That's more that's
or
I gotta say that's a little more it's interesting, right? Because we talk about how the game's evolved, now everybody's throwing 100 miles an hour. The thing is the hitters are adjusted to 100 miles an hour. Now, are they gonna sit back and adjust quicker to slower pitchers to wait on, like a Nestor Cortez? That could be a problem because you make the game offensive. But again, there's a caveat to that.
there is a caveat.
If you have a guy throwing 93, 94, use your little analytics, use your shit to say, hey, you know what? You might be throwing 93, 94. Let's trick the hitter. Let's throw some fucking movement in there. Let's have some unprecedented break.
I will say this: before the Yankees put up a 5 spot yesterday, that's what happened. That is what happened. Espino and Bowden Francis. The Yankees were so early on all of the pitches.
Because
Like
they're
those were
expecting
like
fastball,
that
fastball,
was
fastball.
like that's why they didn't get on the board until obviously Stanton's home run and then Bowden Francis started getting out of control and all these other different things started falling in the line for the Yankees is because they were early. They were expecting the 98, the 94, not the 94, 98, 99, freaking 97 miles an hour. If you throw a couple of curveballs in there, and it's better for your arm. It is better for your arm because if you throw a couple of curveballs in there, you throw some sliders, you throw fucking splitters that aren't as great on velocity, but they got movement, and then you throw in a fastball when they're not expecting it, that's going to confuse the shit
It
out of the
complicates it.
hitter. It complicates the entire situation, which again makes the game for the fans that watch, like me and you, interesting. Not these people who just want the home runs and the
Not
this
people
and
who
that.
text while the game's happening.
Yeah, not those people. But again, like that's what they're not thinking about. That would be the best solution because you don't want to reduce from the MLB perspective. You don't want to, start talking about the pitch clock again because you'll make people unhappy. I mean, people can be unhappy either way, but you'll make the fans unhappy. Be like, oh, this is the longer game, and this is what this. I don't want to hear that. Then you have the sticky stuff, which again, we all know what controversy that caused a couple of years ago. So again, your best scenario is telling your pitching coaches, hey, sticky stuff, not sticky stuff. You got to start implementing like more off speed. But here's the problem though. Let's just say you have a guy who is a power pitcher, right?
Right.
What if he can't what if he can't throw sliders? What if he can't throw a good splitter? What if he can't throw a good changeup? What happens?
Then he's a one pitch pitcher. He is a one trick pony. And that's unfortunate because, like, again, we talk about it all the time in today's MLB. Everybody's a power pitcher for the most part. There are some who are not, but for the most part, everybody's a power pitcher. And they develop one pitch. They do have some backup pitches, but they're not nearly as effective as the fastball. And the problem is once the fastball's figured out, you have to go back to your backup pitches, and they're not nearly as effective. So you become a one-trick pony. Your hitters can easily figure out.
Yeah. All right. So some stuff in the chat. Loizaga got hurt when he spiked the ball. In my opinion, pitchers need their own legal substance. I mean,
I'm
it
sure
depends
there's an
what
argument
for.
for that.
What?
I mean, here's the thing, real quick. If hitters can use a certain amount of pine tar on their bats, pitchers should be allowed to use somewhat of a substance.
Well, isn't that what rosin is for?
I mean, the rosin, yes, but I mean, sure, but
Are you questioning whether it's as effective?
Yes.
You might as well put Gosman on the list. He's been horrible. Guaranteed he's hurt. Yeah, Gosman hasn't been great.
And he just dominates the Yankees.
I got both of my March Madness bracket spot on UConn. Purdue never get shit right, and don't mention the Cowboys. We never. Well, you get a couple of things right here and there, but anyway, so I think the MLB needs to attack that because I think the longer they wait, the more the pitchers are going to get injured, the more you'll have these garbage games, and more people will start speaking out. But again, just in my opinion, I think the MLBPA needs, and I know they're having some leadership nonsense right now with Tony Clark and all these other different guys that are fighting for the top of the MLBPA. Like, who gives a shit?
Right.
Just go out there, figure something out, and then bring it to MLB's attention. Look, this is not like we're not
gather evidence. Say, you know what? These are the most, as you said, these are the most important pitchers who have gotten hurt. Verlander, Perez, Alcantara, Garrett Cole, all those guys are all important to the league and very important teams as well. Not so much Miami, but Houston and New York.
I'll say this, right? What if Ohtani got actually hold on, does Ohtani plays right into this, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't even I'm like, hold on, wait, maybe
he's had arm injuries.
Didn't he have Tommy John?
I'll look that up.
He had some sort of elbow injury.
Let's look this up.
I mean, Bryce Harper is the anomaly.
He had Tommy John surgery performed in 2018.
Right, but that was pre everything. But didn't he get hurt like within the last?
He also had a surgery to repair his UCL tear this past season.
Exactly. That is the Loizaga right now, and then Sandy Alcantara. So I don't get it. This is where the MLBPA needs to get their ass up and go to the MLB with this. And also, it really shouldn't, in ways, it shouldn't have to be upon the MLBPA to take care of an issue like this. Because, again, these issues hurt the MLB as a game. And when you're trying to grow the game, this shit needs to be worked out. Got hurt last August. Okay, so, yeah, not once, but twice. There we go. My point proven. But Ohtani's not speaking about it. It actually takes Garrett Cole to speak about it. I
guess is what you're referring to in terms of leadership.
Yeah, MLB wants Tony. Yeah, it's just this. From what I was reading in an article, I think this was an Evan Drellich article because he's always in that shit. There's a deputy lawyer or a deputy MLBPA head who a lot of people don't like, and they want to get him out. But that guy wants to get Tony Clark out. It's a complete shit show. And there's so many other things right now that are going on that kind of just, they're more important than just a leadership thing. Reorganize it when you have all the issues sorted out. And it's not even just all the MLBPA stuff. I mean, MLB is their own issues, which let's take a slide into that subject. The Oakland Athletics are a complete shit show. And this is, and our buddy Armand in the chat is going to love this, by the way, because he just loves shitting on John Fisher. Mind you this, right?
Right.
Me and two friends of mine were doing a podcast in school on Friday. And we were talking about a little bit of the issues the MLB has and all these different things because we were just doing Yankees Mets talk. One
Right.
Mets fan, two Yankees fans, whatever. And I was talking about the situation because my friend's like, bring it up. And I'm like, okay, so this is what's going down, which for those of you in the chat who don't know, may not be paying attention, the Oakland A's obviously are preparing for a move to Vegas, but they will be situated in a AAA stadium that seats 14,000 people. Mind you, on a good day, Oakland doesn't see 14,000.
Right.
The stadium itself, 14,000 people. Luca, look up the attendance for the last game played in Oakland.
Okay, let's do that, shall we? It's probably gonna say like paid attendance, but who really plays to go with who really pays to go to an athletics game? So last attendance at a home game, technically, because they were playing the Red Sox at home, they lost. The attendance was, let's see. Need a statistic here. It's not giving me one.
I go on ESPN.
That's where I'm at.
No, well,
Oh, here we
MLB
go. Here we go. 6,436.
That's not even half of 14,000.
Nope.
It's not even half. Pitching injuries are not just MLB level, it goes down to the little leaguers getting hurt. I heard this on Foul Territory. Little leaguers.
I mean, in terms of there might be a point to that because you never know what they might be revolutionizing how they're teaching, pitching mechanics in the little league. Everything's evolving now, so that's honestly a fair point.
Yeah, good point. But I mean, I was explaining the entire situation. Look, this team is going to stay in Sacramento for a number of years. Then they're going to move it over.
They recently just filed the trademark to actually be named the Sacramento A's, as opposed to name B.
Which is where I was going to get to, is they were going to be called just the A's, not name attached. But now they filed a trademark to be the Sacramento A's for the 3 seasons that they're there. I think it's 3 seasons, 3 or 4 seasons. And mind you, how much this is funny, right? We talk about John Fisher. We talk about him as being the worst owner in sports, though Luca likes to jokingly disagree that Woody Johnson's the worst. No, John Fisher is worse. No, he's actually the worst owner. So you have to do uniform changes too. You have to do merchandise changes because you got the Oakland A's for the longest time. Then you'll have Sacramento for 3 years. So you're going to have to design a jersey for that. And then you're going to have to design a jersey for Las Vegas. And again, it's probably cheaper and, but at the same time, while it's probably cheap to do that and make millions, let's start with thousands, all right? Let's start with thousands. Thousands of Las Vegas tees or Las Vegas hats or Sacramento tees and Sacramento hats. At that time, will the Athletics be a relevant franchise to where what they're investing in those jerseys is that money actually coming back to them?
Are you asking? Is what are they getting a return on their investment?
Yes.
That's what you're asking?
Potentially, because I mean, how many fucking and this I'm not gonna sit here and say all these other different things. Like, I don't think all the owners are bad in the MLB. I think if I'm being real, right? I think a lot of this was brought on by the MLB players not taking the salary cap in '94, which all these contracts. 2, if I'm being completely honest, I think MLB, because of all the things that has surpassed it and all these whatever, I think they have the worst group of owners that any sport has seen.
Let me think about it real quick. I mean, the Suns, Robert Sarver sold. I'm trying to think of like all the worst owners. Like NFL, Woody Johnson be one of them.
James
NFL,
Dolan,
Mark Davis.
If you're like a casual James Dolan, but he stepped back.
Yeah.
Woody John, David Tepper is
Mark
one.
Davis.
Mark Davis.
Jim Irsay.
See, here's where you can caveat all of those because a lot of those different teams will spend money. A lot of those different teams will put out the fucking paycheck and say, "Here, how much do you want?" Not, and again, this is the MLB style. They decided to go like this. And now let me ask a question. There's no legitimate salary floor, is there?
Let me look at that because there's
a salary threshold.
Some shit.
But we only know 3 teams hit that every year. It's the Yankees, it's the Mets, and it's the Dodgers.
Okay,
It'll
so
be
let's
sacked 3
see.
years. So I was right.
MLB 2024, was it salary? What do you call it? Salary
It's a
limit? Salary minimum.
threshold, the threshold or minimum, whatever. Armin says, by the way, the 14,000 capacity is actually 10,000 seats, and the other 4,000 can sit in the lawn area like you're going to spring training. What a joke. And again, like, I know Oakland's not the prettiest place to play. Trust me. I keep up with shit.
And that
But,
stadium is
but,
terrible.
but, and the stadium is garbage. But to sit here and like hold the fans hostage because of a garbage, like because of the situation, and force a garbage product down their throats. I don't know, man. It's disgusting. And the fact again that the MLB, and I get it, like there's a lot of arguments. Okay, the commissioner works for the owners work for the commissioner, whatever. But the fact that they're letting this destroy the game of baseball sucks. It sucks.
I'm just telling you right now, I can't find Dick, but here's a study, by the way. 9 MLB teams cut payroll this winter, and the average salary is only up just 1.5%. I know what I'm talking about. And you're talking about different things. I just wanted to mention that.
Okay. But no, it's just what I want to bring up because it's terrible for the game of baseball. Now, was he the owner when the A's had those playoff runs in
Are
like
you talking?
2012?
Let's look that up. 2012 Oakland Athletics. The answer to that is yes. He was one of the owners, Lewis Wolf and John Fisher.
I just want to
And
know
Lewis
what.
Wolf sold a share in 2016.
And that was the beginning of the end.
Exactly.
And here's the problem with that. You want to add 2 more expansion teams?
I don't know. I mean, I like
when this is the image that your sport is giving off.
yes.
And again, I'm not here to like always poo-poo the sport, but the way the operations are run, trust me, it's the worst in professional sports.
Out of the four major sports, absolutely.
That's why everybody laughs at baseball. Everybody laughs at baseball. You know, people used to say it's too long and all this stuff. Now they just say, no, it's just run like shit. It sucks again, but good news, DJ Stewart got worked out a walk. Bad news, he's still hitless. Yeah. And then also Jacob says that the Colts are eyeing a trade up scenario in which they would, get Brock Bowers, which would be interesting.
It'd be good, very, very good, nice young weapon for your young quarterback.
Yeah. We have him and all these other guys. But any final thoughts on this subject?
Not really. I mean, Armin just sent me something that everybody thought it was a kind of a panic move, more of a scramble for the A's to move to Sacramento. And if you all don't know what stadium it's Sacramento, I'm just going to say it again. That's the Sacramento River Cats Stadium, in which the A's AAA team, plays.
Fucking mess. Fucking mess. But and the fact that also Oakland, which is a totally separate conversation, Oakland lost 3 teams in a matter of how many years?
That's true. They lost Golden State, which they moved to San Francisco. They lost the Raiders. Now they're going to lose the A's.
Yep. But again, like, I mean, I'm not going to comment on Warriors ownership because I don't know that. Mark Davis, I mean, he's, we all know who he is. And then, John Fisher's the worst owner out of all of them.
Armin says teams are using the RSN rights problem for cutting payroll.
RSN rights.
RSN, I believe, deals with TV rights, because some
revenue sharing.
Yes, revenue sharing.
Revenue sharing. I don't get it.
RSN stands for Regional Sports Network.
Regional Sports Network, yeah. And then Bally Sports plays into that and all the other shit. But I don't know. It's just a fucking mess for the game, just the way I see it. But again, any final thoughts? Any final baseball thoughts? How about that?
Not really.
All right. So, do you want to do prospects of the week or do you want to do the mock draft?
So the mock draft. See what happens.
All right. So, We do these once every few weeks. We're not throwing them every week because every week would be boring as fuck. We will be presenting one final mock draft on the 22nd. So that's 2 weeks from today. And we might do also a team jointed mock draft. But again, we'll see what happens. And of course, we'll be live for the draft. So join us for all the coverage. So I picked the Giants. I picked the Jets already. I don't think I'm gonna do any trades.
No, I don't think
All
so.
right, let's settle this, right? Your team is the easiest. It's cake, right? My team is where it gets harder. So do you want me to do realism or do you want me to do like what they should do? Based on a little bit of realism, but at the same time, what they need.
What did we do last time?
Well, I don't remember. I'm just asking you for this time around.
Let's do what they should do.
Okay. All right. So it makes my job a little easier. Okay, restart.
Yeah, there's no way in hell Jaden Daniels being picked first overall. That's
Well,
what I don't like
I
about some
wouldn't
of these
totally
trades.
actually I wouldn't totally rule that out, but Caleb Williams would be off the board by the Giants pick. So
That's
let's start again.
ridiculous.
Okay. This is gonna be strike 2.
And you could have kept that, to be honest. Not that the Bears would pick McCarthy, but all the 3 quarterbacks would have been gone.
True. But anyway.
I wish they had a little realistic kind of thing, but who am I?
Right, so
let's check the
one
first
trade
couple
offer.
of picks first.
All right. Drake May and New League Neighbors. I'm taking Drake May.
All right. I'm not trading back. All right. So that's so obvious. Joe Alt.
All right. So me and Luke are hitting slam dunks easy.
He would never be there, but to be fair.
They should have like a sim option. But the Giants pick next, I believe, because the Jets don't have a second. Giants pick at 47. No. All right. No, not gonna
trade
do
offers.
No. This one's a little enticing.
You get 3. Hold on, go back. You get 3 more draft picks for the price of 1, and you're only moving back 2 spots.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Bengals offer. Let's take the Bengals offer. All right. No more trades. All right. So here's, an offensive tackle wouldn't be bad. You got Edrin Cooper here. Kamari Lassiter.
Shouldn't you need a wide receiver?
Do we need a wide receiver? Keon Coleman is still here.
Does he fit the skill set of a Dable team, though? Because right now you have Jalen Hyatt, Wan'Dale Robinson. Who else?
Darius Slayton.
I mean, you really don't want those to be your 3 weapons. I mean, Hyatt, that's fine. Wan'Dale, I guess that's fine.
Kamari Lassiter is guy who jumps off.
You want to take Ricky Pearsall? I think he's a little more exciting.
Okay. But also Lassiter, because I mean you could get corner a little later on. But
you have all those picks, though, to be fair, from that trade.
We do. All right. So
if it were me, I would be picking Ricky Pearsall.
Let me take Keon Coleman.
Okay.
All right. So the I don't know who's next. The Giants, then the Jets, because the Giants have 70. We're not doing any more trade backs. No, thank you. All right. Brooks is not bad, but we gotta go down the list. Trey Benson is still here. Christian Haynes is still here. Now, a lot of people think that the Giants are going to pass up on interior offensive line. I don't want them to do that. I don't want them to do that in this case. And I do have 2 more picks, so at least premium. So,
Blake Corum's available.
I could do Blake Corum.
That's not a premium. It is, but it's not. Depends what you want to do.
So there's still some cornerbacks that are very good.
You could wait till I think you wait till 97 to draft a corner. You could get yourself another offensive weapon or a piece of the offensive line.
Trey Benson. That's my pick.
Jets. Well, I'm going wide receiver first. Let's look at that. Malachi Corley. Now, I'm going to just stay here for a second. I'm going to refamiliarize myself with his game. Look at the scouting report. So, Dynamic slot receiver. I want to see now. The big question is, does he have inside-outside versatility? He's 5'11". I don't know if he can really play on the outside. Thick running back like frame, great strength to balance ball carrier, fight for extra yards, above average long speed with ball in his hands, enough juice to separate with a runaway. Very good hands and catch radius. It's a good sign. Limited route tree at his stage, interesting. Poor footwork and hand usage as a route runner, that could be worked on. Below average spatial awareness as a route runner, can run into traffic at times. His budget, Golden Tate, interesting. Was Golden Tate? I don't think Golden Tate was a slot receiver, was he?
He was a little bit of a slot receiver.
So he could play inside and outside, right? Let me look at this. Let me just look at this one last thing, and I'll decide. Malachi Corley, outside snaps. On tape, he wins both. I'm just double checking this. This is per Draft Network. This is the gurus of gurus. Wins both as an outside receiver and this in the slot. Malachi Corley.
All right, Malachi Corley it is.
Next to the Giants.
Yes, we got 97, which we've taken all offense, so defense will need to be something at some point. I'm not trading back. Don't want to make it too unrealistic.
Corner.
Safety is another option.
How was Camry Kitchens last this long?
Interesting. I'm going to go ahead and take Cam Hart.
Okay. Listen, I have no problem with Cam Hart. Not only am I a Notre Dame fan, but he's played really well in the pre-draft process.
Okay.
Gives me very sticky vibes.
Van Pran could be a backup center type. If you slot somebody to guard, I just don't know here.
Do you take a depth guy now, or do you want to build on another receiver? Because
I think I'm going to take another. I think I'm going to take a defensive lineman.
Okay.
Leonard Taylor, Tyler Davis,
McKinley Jackson. I think he was at the Senior Bowl.
I'm going to take Leonard Taylor.
Okay.
Jets are up.
Okay. Let's see. We already covered the wide receiver. We covered tackle. They met with this guy today. See if he's available. I think it was Jaden Hicks.
Nope.
Ah, damn. I'll give it a wait. I don't know about Cade Stover.
Blake Fisher is available.
I don't know if I would draft. All right.
Oh, that's right. We got Alt.
Yeah. See what safety says. I think we'll wait on that. See what running back does.
Braylon Allen. That'd be a very damn good running game.
Wide receiver. Let's see what we got. Armin says quarterback 111, maybe. How the hell no. Brendan Rice. How the hell did he fall that far?
You got a C.
That's not a C+. The dude's a third round, second round talent. Don't give me that.
I feel like Luka's going to go quarterback with one of the late picks, though. I have an instinct. You don't want to trade back, right?
Nah. I want to draft contributors. Let's see. See what quarterback has in store. Michael Pratt, Jordan Travis. I think we'll wait till the next book to do quarterback. Safety. Tyke Smith.
All right. Let's see, I think the Giants
might play really well at the Senior Bowl.
Him and Bullard. I think it was Tyke Smith, though. All right, so no more trade backs. No. So we got D-line. We got a lot of good positions covered. We already got running back, so no need to worry about that. We could take another corner. Kamara's not bad. Johnny Wilson ain't bad either. Oh.
I mean, do you want to go up and get it kind of guy like Wilson? I'm surprised he's lasted this long, too.
Or so do you want about, I have an idea. Williams could be a stud, but I don't think he's going to last. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to leave Williams here. I'm going to surprise a couple of people.
I'm surprised you haven't picked tight end yet. Oh, there you go. This is speaking to existence. I like Sinat somewhat.
Well, yeah, you like him because you interviewed him.
And I did a scouting report.
Okay. For the Giants, we already covered corner on the outside.
See,
There's a
Senna, I
couple.
think would be versatile for you guys because he's more of the H back. He could line up as a tight end in line, but he could
Yeah,
also line up in the backfield.
Mason McCormick. Oh, I like the
Christian
way.
Jones had a very good Senior Bowl towards the end. He even played well in the. It was either him or Coleman who played really well in the Senior Bowl.
I don't think it was Coleman. I think it was Jones, or it was either or. I don't remember. Mason
Max
McCormick
says
was my pick.
Max. Oh, he said if see if Theo Johnson's available.
Theo Johnson was gone probably around the Jets pick, which was like the 4th round. So
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say like you got to draft it. You kind of have to
we
draft
do
it.
have Sinot. So
Yeah, Sinop's fine.
I would say this is a pretty good draft thus far. Now it's down to special teams or any other position. Safety, Oladapo. James Williams is still here, and we did the film breakdown on him a couple of weeks back.
Yeah,
He can be a good type. So I'm gonna take James Williams here for good value.
you got
And
an A
then
on that.
that's 185. They still got a couple of picks left, so it's not all over for the Jets. You said you want to look at quarterback.
He's staring me right in the face, and his name is Jordan Travis.
Okay, Jordan Travis,
Because he is
the
like
next
the
backup to
ideal.
Zach Wilson.
What?
The next backup to Zach Wilson.
No, he's Zach Wilson can go. He's the ideal bet. He's the ideal backup quarterback for because he's going to be sitting a year.
Leofau would have been a good pick. Is he a? I know you did the scouting report, Luca. Is he core special teamer?
He probably could be, possibly. Maybe he's seeing a ceiling a little bit higher than that, but I could see him starting out like that real quick. No, I'm not drafting a punter or kicker. That's already been solved.
All right, here we are.
Alrighty.
You know I like Dejan Edwards as a running back, and you need one.
I am not drafting a running back. Controversial. I am not drafting.
You looked at running back before, though.
Yeah, but I've thought about it, and I'm not sure if I'm a gung ho on drafting a running back unless the Jets sign somebody like a Kareem Hunt. That's who I want. I want Kareem Hunt.
Cool, brother. Cool.
Go up. Let's see. All right, we drafted 2 wide receivers. That's fine. It does good for me. Safety we drafted. That's fine. So we don't really have a depth rookie interior offensive lineman. I'd like to see what that looks like.
Nugent's center. Keegan's a guard. Henderson can play tackle and guard.
Let me see what pick we're at.
You are literally the 2 last pickers of the draft.
Give me the versatile guy. Joe Douglas loves his versatile pieces. I think you said Trevor Keegan.
Well, Nugent can play center and guard. Henderson can play tackle and guard. Though
Right,
I like him less than these 2.
Nugent.
All right, Drake Nugent it is, and whoever else you want.
See all. Okay. No. Maybe a depth corner. I'm not too much thinking of it. I don't know. Marcus Harris. Just throwing shit against the wall, see what sticks. Marcus Harris.
He's a good run defender.
What?
He's a good run defender.
Hey, listen, we fucking need that.
All right. So this is the Jets draft. Joe Alt, Malachi Corley, Brendan
It should
Rice.
be an A because that Brendan Rice pick's an A because it was good value.
Tyke Smith, A. Jordan Travis, A. Drake Nugent, A+.
I don't know what they're smoking.
Harris, A+. And then for the Giants, we didn't get a single C like the Jets.
Oh,
A+
okay.
on Drake May, A+ on Keon Coleman, A on Trey Benson. 2 Florida State guys in a row.
I was
A+
about
on
to say.
Cam Hart, Leonard Taylor, B+.
We also got 2 Miami guys.
We did. Mason McCormick, B+, and James Williams, A.
2 Miami guys from both sides of the ball, and then 2 Florida State guys from one side of the ball. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, no. The Miami guys were both sides of the ball. Well, the one side of the ball. Leonard Taylor is a defensive line.
Oh, both defense. Okay.
Yeah. So, pretty solid draft. What were the available defensive tackles when you took Leonard Taylor? Tyler Davis was one. Jordan Jefferson was another. There weren't too many good guys left on the board.
Yeah, that
but
was.
I felt, Taylor was probably one of the better guys. All right, so now we have another edition of Prospect of the Week, and I stayed up until about 2, 3 in the morning scouting this guy. And I will say, this is one of the tougher guys that I picked out, and one of the shortest film breakdowns because the film that I got on him were against a lot of run first teams, Georgia, North Carolina, and I forget the other team we mixed in. But this is Marcellus Dial, and he actually started his career at Georgia Military College, and then he played 3 years for South Carolina. This past year, 12 games, 36 tackles, 1 sack, 10 pass deflections, 2 tackles for loss. He's 6'0", 190 pounds. So he will be number 6 on the screen. But of course, as always, I do have the arrow pointing to him. Let's get right into it. So, wait for this to load. He's on the opposite end of your screen. Sticks to him nicely. And I'm not doing plays where the quarterback looks to one side of the field. I want him to look to both sides of the field. Carson Beck. This is actually against Marcus Rosemary-Jack Saint, who we saw at the Senior Bowl. Sticks to him nicely.
Even through the little through the change, I should say, change in stride from the receiver.
He's at the top near the 40. Again, this one he's playing outside leverage. It's going up against Ricky Pearsall. So
Good
it's a notable name. Here, just going up against the tight end on the play action. Here again. I believe he's still going. He might. I don't know if that's Rosemary-Jack Saint, but still. Again, the safety does help in this play, but
it doesn't look like the receiver got much separation there, to be fair.
No. Here, this is just a good instinctual thing in zone coverage, because a lot of guys mess up zone coverage and don't understand it. But he's at the top,
and the safety takes the man
guy
short.
deep, takes the man short. Here, again, he just sticks to him. And it also helps that the front seven gets there. You see the quarterback is looking in that direction, but Dial has him locked down. Here, he's covering Ricky Pearsall, and quarterback is not able to throw. Here he could, but he's also got the defender in his face.
It seems like he's very instinctive and he's quick with his hips. So that obviously plays a part in, him sticking with his man.
So here's where we get a little bit into his weaknesses. See here, like that's a little wobbly. Like you saw, like that's not a great rep.
Like grabby.
Well, he is grabby from time to time, but here, like, look, he nearly falls down, and he probably does grab him on the route if it's a little bit more there. Bottom of your screen, again, that probably would be holding in the NFL. Here, he just doesn't have the ground to cover, and the safety does come over to help, but
the wide receiver had the separation time.
I think speed is an issue with him, but we'll get into that. Allows the touchdown. Again, I just don't think he's got like great recovery speed. Here against Jack Saint, similar play to what we saw earlier. Here again, it's some sort of a miscommunication here because you do notice, scroll it back a couple of seconds. One guy's supposed to go on the drag, and one guy's supposed to cover
miscommunication.
At the 45. I don't know what happened here. One of those guys was supposed to go over, and you see the guy's wide open, but the quarterback doesn't throw it properly. Here, an outside corner is not likely going to give great run support, but here he's just getting blocked up. Here, look at his tackling technique.
Ugh.
It's a good tackle, but it's not great technique. You'll see.
It was a sufficient tackle, not a.
Yeah, you'll see where like that play got him in trouble. This play here, he's right there, and he misses it.
He had the angle, but looks like a lot of arm tackling.
Yeah. Here.
Yep, arm tackling. You see he's not taking him down fully. You see it.
Yep, I did see that, Armin. But anyway, that's a quick edition of Prospects of the Week for Marcel Style. Zone man flexibility, good IQ for strengths, weaknesses, tackling speed, and press man consistency. I don't think he could play press man coverage. I think he could play off man and probably more zone. And again, I don't think his speed is there. But let's sum it up for before we go into the next subject. Marcellus Dials, an interesting prospect coming from 3 years of experience in the SEC and 1 year at Georgia Military College. Some quality attributes from his game tape are flexibility to play zone and man coverage. Not to mention, he broke up 10 passes for the Gamecocks in 2023. He also demonstrates very good IQ, especially playing well in zone coverage. Dial will need to wrap up better as a tackler at the next level to earn possible starting time. In my honest evaluation, his speed isn't the greatest, and that could draw teams away from him rather than to him, I should say. I also don't think he should be consistent press man coverage cornerback, rather playing zone or off man coverage. Luca, what do you? I also predict he's going to be like a 4th, 6th round pick. I don't
Yeah,
think
he
he's
looks
going to
developmental to
be
me.
developmental guy, probably a special teamer. Luca, your
It
thoughts?
looks like there's like some traits there, like okay, maybe we could build on that, but I think he starts out maybe as a special team to start. Um, I think he has good awareness. I think he can flip his hips really well. I think he has average speed. I think he has average speed. And you saw him get beat a few times. I think you saw maybe the footwork was a little choppy when it came to that one round. I think it was against North Carolina, which the film was on, where the receiver was cutting across the field, and you saw him nearly lose his balance. So the footwork could be an issue. But it just seems like a developmental guy. It wouldn't be a bad piece for a team to take a chance on. But again, as you said, not an overly man coverage corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's a depth sign. It's a depth piece again, and I'm not trying to like. Probably during draft week, we'll probably go out there and pick a guy or two to do prospect of the week on that's like known, like a quarterback or a wide receiver, or a top player.
Yeah.
But just like overall, some of these guys I want to pick out, they're not obvious names. So just like, hey, if my team drafts him, this is what he brings to the table because this guy said it. So but any final thoughts on the draft prospect of the week?
Not really, honestly.
All right. So what's next, Luca?
Well, I guess it's time to go into the Knicks. The Knicks came off a pretty good victory yesterday against the Milwaukee Bucks, scoring 122-109. Obviously, the Knicks were down at 10 or down 10 points in the second quarter. They came back, they won. A lot of key components, mainly Jalen Brunson scoring 43 points. But we'll get into this a little bit of a whole. So I talked about it, just said it. Jalen Brunson, 43
Can I ask
points.
a question though?
Yes.
Are there any more seeding implications for the Knicks?
I think. Well, first of all, let's look at the box scores tonight. See if there's any teams that are playing today or tomorrow that have implications when it comes to the Knicks seeding. So nobody has a game tonight because of the national championship. Makes
Yeah.
sense. So tomorrow, the Pacers are playing the Raptors on the road. The Miami Heat, I know they're in the play-in, so not too much of a worry. They're playing in Atlanta. The Milwaukee Bucks are playing at home against the Celtics. Now, I don't know if the Celtics are going to be playing with all of their guys, obviously, because because the Celtics clinched the first seed. They clinched the home field advantage. They clinched basically the best record in the NBA. So basically, they can just rest their guys, wait till the first round of playoffs. Knicks obviously plays the Bulls tomorrow. They need a bounce back game against the Bulls. Not that obviously they just won recently against the Bucks, but they had a pretty bad showing against the Bulls. The Orlando Magic are playing in Houston. Now, Houston could play spoiler. They are out of the playoffs. They're out of the play-in. But that is a very tight-knit West Coast. And you know what? Maybe the Magic, lose a game. And that, I'll tell you that. The Houston Rockets are a very young team, but they're a very young, well-coached team. So you have two young coaches going at it. We'll see what happens. Let me see if there's any other seeding implications. I don't believe there is. I think I named all of them. I don't think Cleveland's playing tomorrow, but Cleveland, stuck in the 5 seed. Again, standings update for y'all. The Knicks are in the 4th seed. The Magic are in the 3rd seed. The Cavaliers are in the 5th seed. The Pacers are in the 6th seed. Right now, I think the Knicks are going to be a top 6 team no matter what. And obviously, there's a little bit of separation. There's like an eensy bit of separation between each team. The Magic and the Knicks have the same record. They are both 16 games back of obviously the first seed Celtics. They're 46 and 32. The problem is the Magic have the tiebreaker over the Knicks 3-1 in the season series. Now the Bucks, they're only one game ahead of both the Magic and the Knicks, so that 2 seed is very much in play for both teams. Whether it's the Knicks being shorthanded or the Magic having a phenomenal run, continuing to win throughout the end of the season. Now the Bucks, another thing that's plagued them, they've lost 4 in a row. They lost to the Memphis Grizzlies recently, a lottery team. They lost to the Raptors, a lottery team. They lost to the Wizards, a lottery team. They are 15 and 17 with Doc Rivers as head coach. So that not a lot of things are trending the right way. Obviously, Chris Middleton is hurt. He has a mouth laceration, or I don't think they call it mouth laceration. They called it mouth trauma. He was hit in the face yesterday. Obviously incidental, so no flagrant there. But regardless, it's a critical stretch, and I don't think they have the coaching to, stay in the second seed. And even in the playoffs, obviously coaching is a big worry because Doc Rivers is the most overrated, one of the most overrated coaches of all time because he does not adjust. Instead of, how coaches make adjustments at halftime, he tells the players to adjust. He doesn't make adjustments as coach as an X's and O's guy. Instead of like, okay, you do this, you do that, you have to watch. You have to make that adjustment because you're the one playing, which makes no fucking sense. But Doc Rivers being a Bucks hire is amazing to me. And I'm sure Brian, if we have him on stream sometime soon, I love to talk to him about the Bucks. But anyways, regardless, the Knicks are in the 4th seed. They're locked in right now, tied with the Bucks. Not the Bucks. Sorry, the Magic. Again, they're in the 3rd seed, the Magic, because they have the tiebreaker over the Knicks. That's what hurts. But anyways, Jalen Brunson, what really more has to be said about him, right? 43-point explosion versus the Bucks. All-NBA second team, I think he should be a lock for it. Me and Dylan were talking about it yesterday. He's obviously an MVP candidate. I don't think he wins because I don't think he has respect from NBA executives or even NBA writers who I talked about it in the last show when John was on. A buddy of ours, Alex B., Nick Central, said it perfectly. The NBA journalists have not the aura. They can create any narrative they want to. They do not want to be wrong about Jalen Brunson because it was such a frowned upon signing and a frowned upon way that the Knicks signed him because, Julius Randle, World Wide West, and Leon Rose went to the Western Conference Finals game against the Warriors and saw him play live.
Or they tampered with him.
Yeah, the tampering. That's what they're going to say. Oh, they tampered with Brunson. This, and this, whatever. And that's, they're gonna purposely create that dark cloud. You heard what Brian Windhorst said. Jalen Brunson uses the dark arts to draw fouls. He's a foul hunter. And the problem is, there's differences, right? In which players draw fouls. Obviously, I think that is a big problem with the NBA, with NBA trying to crack down on what's a foul, what's not, what's a shooting foul, what's not. The problem is that there's no consistency. You could see a guy like Trae Young. Let's just say he gets somebody up in the air. He's going to throw himself on that defender. He's going to get that call. Damian Lillard, you saw some calls last night where Damian Lillard was racing across the 3-point line, dribbling. Dante DiVincenzo makes 1 inch of contact. It's a 3-point foul. Damian Lillard driving on Mitchell Robinson. Robinson is, mind you, running away from the contact. He has his contact, his hands up vertical, moving his feet. He gets 1 inch on Lillard. It's a foul. James Harden, how many calls does he get or usually get? Fouls. Trae Young, as I already mentioned earlier. But it's just so bad. Like, the narrative is, again, he's not going to win MVP. I want him to because I think he is very deserving of it. He missed his starting wing for a lot throughout the year. OG Anunoby. Obviously, Anunoby provides scoring a little bit, 3-point shooting, spacing, defense that helps him out. Julius Randle's going to be out for the year with shoulder surgery, and he's not even going to be healthy coming into next year. So Jalen Brunson basically pulling an Allen Iverson-like effort. I'm going to say that, an Allen Iverson-like effort in this season, and he's not getting the recognition is bullshit to me. And you know what? Us Knicks fans, we're all appreciative of him. So fuck what the NBA writers and all those shitty journalists think. He's got to be a lock for a 2nd or 3rd team NBA. There's no doubt about it. So real quick, just to include some, I won't even get to the film yet. And another guy who's, me and John talked about last week at nauseum, who needed to play better, is Bojan Bogdanović. He's starting to turn the corner a little bit. Last night against the Bucks, he had to 15 points. He had a +5 plus minus, 6 of 9 from the field, 1 of 1 from downtown, 2 of 2 from the line. He had an assist on a nice Dante DiVincenzo for 3. But you're finally seeing Bojan Bogdanovic get in rhythm. And now I'll bring up Alec Burks a little bit because he's out of the rotation for right now, or didn't even play in yesterday's game, which I found interesting. But you're seeing Bogdanovic starting to find a stroke. He had a solid game against the Kings. He had some clutch baskets against the Miami Heat in the fourth quarter, despite the Knicks ended up losing that game. So let's look at what Bojan Bogdanovic has to offer for us, because his scoring prowess, we talked about it in nauseam when we acquired him. This guy is not a shooter; he is a scorer. He can score at all three levels. He could score in the mid-range. He could score from three-point range. Not really much of a corner shooter, but he could also drive to the basket. Despite not being the most agile. He is very bulky. He's very burly. So the drives to the basket aren't smooth. He's not athletic at all, but he still gets his way down there. So we're going to show you highlights from a couple of games. Let's pull up. Here we go. Let's see. Let's pull up this one. This is from the Miami Heat game. Now, Alex, I think I'm going to have to ask you to mute once it comes on, but here we go. All right, I'll mute it instead, but that's okay. So, Knicks Heat, 42-33. You got a unit of McBride. You also have Isaiah Hartenstein, Josh Hart, Precious Achiuwa. Basically, 3 non-shooters with McBride and Bogdanovic being the only shooters. So, McBride's going to bring up the ball. You have Bogdanovic going over to the corner, the weak side of the floor. McBride is going to try to get a switch here. It's actually, you see the double come a little bit, where Love and Caleb Martin both have McBride as a defender. You have Josh Hart out on the perimeter. Okay, he's defended by Duncan Robinson. But you see a nice down screen set here by Precious Achiuwa, in which Bogdanovic knocks down the three-pointer. That's a rhythm three. That's a three you have to knock down every day of the week if you're Bogdanovic. So, once again, Achiuwa is going to set a down screen. You see that Haywood Highsmith and Jimmy Butler are playing way too far off. Hartenstein was open too, but you see Jimmy Butler could have rotated to him easier, but Bogdanovic, nice movement off the curl and off the down screen. He's going to knock down this open three. Next highlight from Bogdanovic throughout the past week. Here we go. He's going to beat Jaime Jaquez off the dribble. Let's pull this up. Deuce McBride coming to the half court, gives to Donnie DiVincenzo. Achiuwa fakes the screen. He's actually going to set it down. So he's going to set a pin down here for Bogdanovic. Bogdanovic is now being chased by Jaquez. Jaquez has yet to get in front of him. Bogdanovic fakes. He gives some time for Jaquez to come in front of him, but he's going to pull out a step back. Mid-range jumper, silky smooth, but it actually goes off the back iron and in. One more time. McBride brings up the ball, gives to Devo. Achiuwa is going to set a pin down. Bogdanovic is being chased by Jaquez. Jaquez gets a little bit of position, but Bojan has that nice fadeaway in his repertoire, and when she pulls that off, he knocks down the basket. So another highlight. Let's pull this up. Let's see what we can find. All right, so here we go. This is from the Bucks game last night. Here we are. Bogdanovic. You have Deuce McBride. You have Donnie DiVincenzo, Anunoby in the corner. Mitchell Robinson, I think, is going to prepare to set a down screen. Here comes Bogdanovic. Giannis is screened. Bogdanovic fakes. Gets Giannis to at least draw his hands a little bit. Giannis stops moving his feet. That's very key here. Bogdanovic drives to mid-range. Giannis trying to catch up. He pulls up. Open jumper. Got it. One more time. Down screen set by Giannis. Portis not in help. That's a big problem because the Bucks ran a lot of drop coverage yesterday, and the Knicks constantly burned them. Here we go. Bogdanovic fakes once more. Drives. You see Portis is trying to seal off Mitchell Robinson, so there is no help defense. You see AJ Green is trying to see ball and man with 1 foot in the paint. Bogdanovic is going to hit this jumper. All right, let's pull up another highlight. Let's try to get another one from yesterday. Let's see. Here we go. Here's a Bojan pull-up. Here we go. Knicks in transition. You got Hartenstein, you got McBride, you got Anunoby, Hart, and Bogdanovic. Hart, nice pass to the corner. Nice little pump fake. We've seen that already. Gets AJ Green to fall for the pump fake. Bogdanovic in the mid-range pulls up for the nice silky smooth jumper. Again, he has that little bit of creation to him where he can dribble a little bit, not too much, to at least draw defenders, draw double teams. And you see he's going to get Green to fake. Green is not ready to guard here because his feet are not set in defensive stance. His pointers aren't out. He is, again, feet aren't set, so he's constantly moving. Nice little up fake, not too much, but he gets the jumper to go. That's another textbook Boyan Bogdanovic shot. And when he hits that, he's money on it. So let's see. I'm going to give you one more highlight. Let's see here. One more highlight. Let's see. Let's see. Boyan gets the lead down to 10. All right, let's see this one. Here we go. Bogdanovic again. This is an ISO play. You see the shot clock's at 10. I don't know if you guys can see that. I hope you guys can. You got an ISO situation. Bobby Portis, Boyan Bogdanovic. No help defense here because Bogdanovic is going to pull up and knock down the three. He's feeling it. And the Knicks go up 10 in this scenario. Once again, ISO situation. Everybody's standing around. They cleared the weak spot of they're clearing all of the paint. Mitchell Robinson is in the dunker spot, nearly, with Jay Crowder guarding him. Bogdanovic pulls up for three. A little bit, Portis gave a little bit of space to Bogdanovic, in which Bogdanovic took advantage. So you talk about the scoring prowess with Bogdanovic, and I can't give you the exact numbers and how much he's averaged per game in the last couple of games, but I'll tell you this much: the performances have been a lot more positive, and you're seeing a guy who the Knicks actually traded for, not some guy who's going to chuck shots and play bad defense. And to be honest, Alex, I don't think he played bad defense yesterday. He was barely noticeable on that side of the floor, and that's actually a good thing. King's performance. I'm going to give you the statistics. Here we go. Bogdanovic was a minus 13 on the floor. I guess you could say that's more defensive. And you could also say that he was put into the game when the team was down big in the second quarter. But he had 12 points, 2 of 3 from 3, 5 of 7 from the field. Nothing more you could ask for. That's solid bench production right there. Let's go to one more game. I talked about the Heat game. Let's see how it performed there. Here we go. Bogdanovic was a +0, so he was again, not bad, not good. Obviously, the Knicks were down a lot as well. That was another one of those games. 16 points, 6 of 10 from the field, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, and 1 of 4 from 3. So you're getting livable, more solid performances from Bogdanovic. Again, I'll tell you this much, Alex B. Nick Central said it perfectly. Burks, that side of the trade's not working out. He's not. Because he didn't play yesterday, he's been brutally awful. But if Bogdanovic starts to touch his Utah Jazz form, and even his Detroit form, the Knicks single-handedly win that trade, regardless of what Quentin Grimes does. What Quentin Grimes does, the Knicks didn't even have to give up any first-round picks for Bogdanovic, and he could be honestly a rotation player for next year if the Knicks decide to run it back. And I honestly don't think that's a bad idea. So I think he's starting to turn the corner. And this brings us into Alec Burks. I think Tibbs did a phenomenal job with the coaching yesterday. Not only in terms of the rotations, but I think he was also phenomenal in terms of the schematics. Defensively, I thought they were phenomenal. They were starting to attract more help on Giannis, all of these different stuff. And also they were taking advantage more offensively of the weak, or I should say the drop coverage. I talked about that already. The Bucks are experts in drop coverage. They love playing drop coverage. Brook Lopez is not a mobile big, so he's going to sit in drop coverage on every pick and roll. We're going to bring that up in a second when it comes to Jalen Brunson. He burned them. And then we'll bring up Isaiah Hartenstein because he had a lot to do with that. But Alec Burks did not get any minutes yesterday for the first time since being injured. Now, is it a question of whether he's hurt, whether that shoulder injury is much of a hamper on him, or was it that Anunoby was back in the lineup, obviously, 2 days in a row, and Miles McBride was taking Alec Burks' minutes. And Burks has been terrible. We talked about it last Monday. Burks is a liability defensively, and his shot selection is awful offensively, and he doesn't make the shots he's supposed to make, and he doesn't pass at all. At least Bogdanovic can pass. Burks is usually useless on the court, and Thibodeau finally noticed that, so credit to him. And the Knicks basically won without him. And it was a good thing because you gave Miles McBride more minutes. McBride has become a sniper. McBride is a better defender. He's a better passer. I don't think he's a facilitator, but he's a better passer. So we move out of Alec Burks. Again, great job by Tom Thibodeau. I got to give him a lot of credit for yesterday's win. Isaiah Hartenstein, is he a better fit for the Knicks starting lineup than Mitchell Robinson? Now, me and Dylan talked about it yesterday. While Mitchell Robinson is slated to be the Knicks starting French franchise center, obviously coming off an injury, coming off a surgery. He's going to be off the bench probably for the rest of the season. But you see Isaiah Hartenstein is just a better fit for the Knicks spacing in the starting lineup. Brunson can shoot. Devo can shoot. Anunoby can shoot. Hart does the playmaking. They know he's going to dribble penetrate. But you know what Hartenstein does? He's not only a very good rebounder and a very good rim protector, he has a little bit of offensive game himself. So you know what? What's that? What's up to Afram? But let's continue. Let's find some film. Let's see. Here we go. Knicks exploiting defense with exploiting the Bucks doubles or drop coverage. So we're gonna now. This is a little bit of a mix, right? I talked about how the Bucks began to double Jalen Brunson, but the Bucks somehow just could not, could not guard him. Not once, not a single defender could guard Jalen Brunson yesterday. Not one. Not Giannis, not Middleton, not Lillard, not Beasley, not nobody. But anyways, they throw the double. You're going to see a lot of double teams. They throw it on, but Jalen Brunson's very quick with his processing. He knows who to throw to. And Isaiah Hartenstein, I believe, had 19 points yesterday, so kudos to him. All right, let's run the action. Here we go. Jalen Brunson, one-on-one versus Malik Beasley. You see, Brook Lopez is in the paint for help defense. Giannis would be the help defender in this situation, but you can see Brunson one-on-one, driving on Beasley. You see Lopez pulling up. He's driving up. Now, this is technically drop coverage, but it's more so not off the pick and roll, but it's a little bit of help defense. There's not really a double here. You have 3 defenders in this area. While that happens, nobody's really paying attention to Hartenstein. Lopez should be seeing ball and man. He's seeing ball, but he's not seeing his man. That's why Hartenstein's going to do a nice job of cutting right to the high post. Hartenstein. Now you see a double team. Here you go. Hartenstein is a spot. Brunson, double team. Good job. Keeps his dribble alive. Hartenstein's floater is good. Watch that again. Brunson one-on-one, driving to the paint, taking Malik Beasley and Brook Lopez with him. Hartenstein claps. He's like, hey, I'm open. Passes to Hartenstein, floater's up, floater's good. And you saw a lot of those looks yesterday for Hartenstein. That's why that floater is a trademark. So let's see. Let's pull up another video file of Hartenstein's prowess. This was in the fourth quarter as well. Final minutes. Here we go. Jalen Brunson. You see Bogdanovich. You see Hartenstein. You have Anunoby. Donnie DiVincenzo also in the corner. Brunson. I think they're about to run a pick and roll here. You have Hartenstein, who's going to try to screen away Malik Beasley. You have Brook Lopez not hedging the screen. He's not icing the screen. He's playing drop coverage. Brunson going downhill feeds Hartenstein. You see Lopez is not sealing Hartenstein. He is not prepared for the role. He's only prepared for Brunson. So Brunson, seeing that Lopez's eyes are focused on the ball and him, he's going to dish it to Hartenstein. Hartenstein, you have Portis late in help, and Hartenstein's going to throw a floater. Now, he does have a chance with Anunoby, but Hartenstein, he's been rocking with the floater. He's going to knock that in one more time. Brunson, pick and roll scenario. You have Brook Lopez in drop coverage. Feeds to Hartenstein because Lopez was not paying attention, and Hartenstein's dropping the floater. One more time for Hartenstein, who had a very good game yesterday. Let's see. Drop coverage one more time. Here we go. Brunson, pick and roll. You see Lopez in drop. He's not hedging. He's not icing the screen. Drops this off to Hartenstein. Giannis is in help. He's in the paint. Lillard is as well. Lillard's not seeing ball and man, but he's in help as well. But Hartenstein's going to drop this floater off right on Giannis. And you can notice as well, Anunoby's open in the corner, but he did not. I think Hartenstein, I don't know if he knew that, he didn't have the shooting touch or whatever, but Hartenstein's going to take this floater any day of the week. So every open look was designed by that drop coverage. Now, besides all of the offensive prowess, this was the absolute fucking play of the game. Absolutely. Nobody can deny it. Here we go. Play of the night. So, late in the game, let's break down the situation. Bucks are down 8 points. There are 4:55 to go. You have Giannis in the paint being defended by Bojan Bogdanovic and Jalen Brunson. Brunson's going to go over to rotate Malik Beasley. Lopez is over by the Pfizer 4 logo. You have Lillard. You also have Portis. Hartenstein's going to have to rotate to Portis. But you see, Giannis makes the pass to Lopez instead of Beasley. Lopez draws the up fake, getting Bojan Bogdanovic to move. Bojan's not ready to guard. So Lopez, let me reconnect on that. It doesn't look like Bojan's ready to guard, but he does keep his feet together. He keeps his feet steady. Lopez driving is going to look to dump to Giannis, either Giannis or a skip pass to Portis, but you're going to watch Isaiah Hartenstein. Watch the rest of this play. Diving on the floor, deflects it to Devo, and an open transition bucket for Bojan. Could not be easier. But I'll tell you this. I'll tell it after. Here we go. Lopez fakes. Good defense by Bogdanovic. Giving him his weaker hand. Lopez is a righty. Give him his left hand. Opening up his weaker side. Giannis sealed off by OG Anunoby. Lopez going to drive a little bit. Hartenstein's coming to help on Giannis. That's why this pass is going to get deflected. And Hartenstein grab it, going on the floor, going for the ball. That's ultimate hustle. And give him a shit ton of credit. But just to more focus on Hartenstein, let's pull up some stats real quick. These are per EPA or EPM, excuse me. This is called dunksandthrees.com. So we're gonna find some metrics on Isaiah Hartenstein where he ranks percentile across the NBA. So first of all, let me say this: Isaiah Hartenstein per dunks and threes has the second best EPM that's estimated plus minus in the NBA, in the 99th percentile, just below Jonathan Isaac of the Orlando Magic. A 4.0 plus estimated plus minus on the defensive end. That is phenomenal for what is called to be a backup center. And me and Dylan we're talking about this yesterday. What a steal of a contract. This guy is only being paid $8 million a year. He's probably going to average like 13, 15 million in the next contract. And I desperately hope that the Knicks I really hope that they honestly re-sign him. But to also add in some other metrics, offensive plus minus, he's actually an 81st percentile, which is not bad. Again, he only has the floater, but he's that much of an impact. The floater and the rebounding game. Let's talk about the rebounding. Offensive rebounding percentage, 14.6. Phenomenal. That is in the 98th percentile. Defensive rebounding percentage, 22.6%. In the 88th percentile. This guy is an impact on defense. This guy is an impact on offense. He doesn't do a lot offensively. He has the floater, but he can rebound. And another two things defensively. He is in the 90th percentile in steal percentage, 2.3 steals in terms of steal percentage. 90th percentile. Block percentage, 89th percentile. 40. I'm sorry, not 40. Wow, that would be a lot of shots. 4%. He is phenomenal. And he's played in about 72 to 78 games. This guy is phenomenal. The Knicks must pay him. He is as much as Anunoby is important to this team, Isaiah Hartenstein is also very important. So, how much money to command? The answer to that would be, I think he garners about 13 to 15 million in the open market. Knicks better re-sign him. You could, and he and Dylan and I talked about it yesterday. He could be a fit for a team like the Magic, Clutch B-Ball TV, or I should say the Knicks realist, Noah, a good buddy of mine, says, you know what? He might be a good fit for the Thunder because the Thunder need a backup big. They need size. But anyways, let's go into another impending free agent for the Knicks, OG Anunoby. And I'll tell you this much, and I know there's a lot of debate here on just in Knicks Twitter because, we talked about OG Anunoby next week. Oh, when is he going to come back? Is he soft? This, and this. But you know what? I will tell you why the Knicks, let alone, won this RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, OG Anunoby trade. I will tell you why. In statistics, they should all tell the story. OG Anunoby's defense, let alone, shows that the Knicks won the trade with the Raptors. That's without a doubt. Nobody has to say more. Nobody has to say less. But we go to the statistics. He is the highest plus minus per 100 possessions in the NBA. That is higher than Jason Tatum and higher than Donovan Mitchell, two stud superstars. Plus 16.3 plus minus per 100 possessions in the NBA. That's how much of an impact OG Anunoby is on the floor. He is a cutter. He can shoot. He plays defense. He can guard positions 1 through 5. We already talked about it yesterday. And to be fair, I know OG was getting a little abused a little bit by Giannis. Giannis, top 5 player. He held him to 3 for 9 with 2 turnovers. Phenomenal. A 33 field goal percentage. That's phenomenal. OG has the body. He has the wingspan. He had 4 steals and 2 blocks yesterday, blocking Giannis not once but twice. Let's give you some other statistics. OG Anunoby, net rating with the Knicks, 23.19. Fucking phenomenal. Would rank as the best in the NBA if that was an individual statistic and that applied to a team. Because obviously with teams, you have your offensive rating, you have your defensive rating, you have your net rating. If this was the Knicks net rating, 23.19, just standalone, that would be the best in the NBA. Offensive rating with OG Anunoby on the floor, 124.32. That would rank as the best in the NBA, just ahead of the Celtics. Defensive rating, when OG Anunoby's on the floor, 101.13, would rank as the best in the fucking NBA. I am telling you, the Knicks, I think they should pay this man. I think they should pay this man in the offseason. And I know, the injury issues, all that. He does have an checkered injury history, especially, somewhat not really wanting to play, somewhat, the hesitancy with the elbow and this, and this. That dude's an impact defensively. And you see what he does. If the Knicks do not have OG Anunoby in the game yesterday besides Jalen Brunson, the Knicks lose that game. And that is why, you go to a game earlier this season. The Knicks lost, I should say. The Knicks lost, I think they've lost 3 games to the Bucks. They might have lost 2. I could be wrong. Early in the season with guys like R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, Quentin Grimes. OG Anunoby is the single X factor that turns that around. When you have OG Anunoby on the floor, an elite rim protector like an Isaiah Hartenstein or Mitchell Robinson, you could challenge the top teams in the East, like the Bucks, like I even say the fucking Celtics. So Anunoby is that impactful. You watch the film, you look at the advanced numbers. He is fucking phenomenal. There's no reason people have to come at me, and I believe me, people have went at me before last week. We're like, oh well, and this was also regarding Julius Randle, because I added, I talked about this yesterday. Somebody tweeted, Julius Randle getting hurt further explains why the Knicks should have traded him while his stock was high. First of all, let's look at this clearly. The Knicks chose Julius Randle over RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly. I should say just over RJ Barrett, because Barrett's skill set was redundant with the rest of the 3 in the lineup. Thibodeau did not vow him to play off ball. Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle have been the 2 main key cogs. They shipped RJ Barrett away to get OG Anunoby. So you have that. And there wasn't any way that let's be realistic, they weren't trading Julius Randle. They were not trading Julius Randle after RJ Barrett. They said, you know what? We're fully investing in Julius Randle. Look at the fucking numbers. When he, Brunson, Hartenstein, DiVincenzo, and Anunoby were on the floor. Let's pull up the PBP stats. You look at that run through January. The Knicks were 14-2 in that month. 14-2. You had teams beaten, like the Sixers, nearly by fucking 40 points, if not 40. You beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. That was another one of those teams. I'm forgetting the other elite team the Knicks beat. The Nuggets blew them out by fucking 40 points. He is a big key, no matter how much you could say it. Let's look up the Wowie combinations, right? Let's look at that 5-man lineup in the month that played in the month of January. Let's go. OG Anunoby, Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Dante DiVincenzo. Their numbers in the month of January as a cohesive unit, and you think about it, they could all be back next year. They should be, realistically. They had a net rating of 17.7, phenomenal. 128.61 offensive rating, 111.44 defensive rating. Their 2-point field goal percentage was almost 60%. Their 3-point percentage was phenomenal, 43.1%. Their opposing 2-point percentage was 54%. Their opposing 3-point percentage was 35%. With those 5 guys on the floor, you cannot sit here and tell me, well, they should have traded Julius Randle. With that kind of month, I don't think so. And I think you can make a good enough argument that Julius Randle can come back next year and this team can run it back to the similar lineup. So that's what I got to say on that. And, people, again, a part of the whole again, this is the part where people get sentimental and they get emotional and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Sorry, I got to say it. They get emotional. They get attached to these players. They don't look at the stats. They don't look at the film. They just have emotional takes because they have a favor a certain player or two. Again, what I was told was my one gripe, I'll say this, Julius Randle did not perform in the playoffs. And I think he is once again robbed of a third time's the charm because he hasn't played well in the past 2 playoffs. To be fair, the first one was him as a number 1 option. He is not that. Second of all, you could say, oh, well, it was his, whether it was his ankle, whatever, but he still made bad decisions. To be fair, he had his good select games. Obviously, Cleveland was a good series for him. Same thing for 2 select games in Miami at home. But at the end of the day, he did not have a good postseason. Not overall, not a consistent one. But I will add that I do think Julius Randle does deserve a chance next year. And I'll give it credit to Julius Randle. I know I haven't touched on his injury, him being out for the season. He tried hard as hell to come back. He tried hard as hell. And once he got contact, once his shoulder got fucked up again, he couldn't play. But I do want Julius Randle on this team next year. I do. I respect him for trying to come back. I respect his heart and his passion. Nobody's going to sit here and deny that. And that 5-man lineup with Hartenstein just showed you a glimpse. We were really robbed of a potential, Again, is a deep playoff run still possible? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, Julius Randle, I think, is a big key, obviously, to this team. But at the end of the day, this team is better with Randle, Anunoby, Brunson, DiVincenzo, Hartenstein in the lineup. That's my thing. It's not an RJ Barrett thing. Oh, RJ Barrett this, RJ Barrett that. Listen, let them fucking succeed in Toronto. What we have in front of us, what is set for a Tibbs team, that lineup was phenomenal. That's what I gotta say. OG Anunoby wins this trade because OG Anunoby alone wins this trade. Yes, he's gonna miss some games. Obviously, injury checkered history. That defensive impact alone, the plus minus, the deflections, the steals, is gonna tell you all about that. RJ Barrett is not as versatile defensively. He is not as consistent of a shooter. That's why OG Anunoby does it's like the intangibles that he has inside. That's why the Knicks are going to end up winning this trade because of what OG Anunoby, the elite defensive impact he gives you on the fucking floor. That's why I think they're going to end up winning this trade. If you have any thoughts, please. I
know. I let you go off. I let you go off. No, I mean this is. I mean, again, I don't know as much as the Knicks as you do, but this lineup, when healthy, is the best chance that this Tibbs team has to win a championship. Like, I generally don't think they need like anybody else. Like maybe a depth player or two, but
yeah, honestly, next year they could probably draft either a backup point guard or you trade for one because Burks is a free agent next year. That's money freed up.
True. All right. So I think we're clear on the docket now.
I don't think there's really anything else to cover.
All right, Luca, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. The Yankees are another win. Phenomenal. Credit to everybody.
Credit to them.
Credit to them. Mock draft. We're getting closer to draft season. I mean, we are in draft season, but the draft itself, can't wait for that. Next, keep playing. Keep playing hard. End this season on a very positive note, despite the injuries. Head into the playoffs strong, obtain a 4 or 5 seed.
All right. So we'll have content throughout the rest of the week. We're going to try to see if we get a stream out on Sunday. But more content coming the rest of the week. Giants, also Yankees too. We appreciate you guys. See you next time.